Hello, my name is Hunter Smathers. This is my TED Talk review. For my TED Talk, I picked The Dream of Digital Ownership Powered by the Metaverse. This is by Yat Siu. Yat Siu is a entrepreneur and investor, and he invests in small tech companies at the very beginnings. He is the co-founder of two tech companies relating to gaming. And his first company was a email and phone number provider, I believe. So he's pretty qualified to talk on the issues of technology in general. The TED Talk is mostly about the metaverse. So if you don't know what the metaverse is, it's a pretty broad concept because it's just in like the beginning stages. Really, the main idea is that you have a bunch of users who can go into a 3D environment and interact with each other. And they can have experiences that you normally wouldn't be able to have in the real world. So, the main issue that he talks about in the TED Talk, though, is the benefits that it has for users in that the data and content that they would normally provide to social media platforms and other sites they use on the internet, they would actually receive rewards for that data. Because when we use something like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, we're giving these companies our data just by interacting with the content on their sites. And this data is really valuable. It can be used for AI, for new products, for all sorts of different things. So it's really valuable, but we don't actually get anything in return for it. And so the main idea with the metaverse that he talks about is that because it's collectively owned by each user, when you contribute something, again, it's very broad, but whether it's content or just interacting with the metaverse, you would gain a stake in the company. And so, or not in the company, but in the network. So you actually have some type of ownership, and that would give you like a little bit of power over what the metaverse is, how things operate, just in general. Because when you're on, like I said earlier, these different social media sites, you don't actually have any power because it's all owned by corporations, different companies, and they can pretty much do anything to your account to, they can kick you off their sites, they can alter whatever you post, they can do whatever because they pretty much own it, you know. But the difference with the metaverse would be you aren't under their ownership. Like, you own your data and your content and you decide what's done with it. And again, it's very broad, so a lot of the specifics aren't entirely planned out yet, but I've seen a lot of comparisons to the early internet where you don't know exactly what it's going to be like, but you have a general idea. So the metaverse could change a lot in the future, but the general idea I think would stay the same. And so the main topics he covers are the rights of people and their data, how that can be used to gain power in the metaverse, and how he really describes it as property rights, because that's what it is, it's your property. And without property rights in real world societies, you don't have power. And he actually says that the wealth of these nations, that where you have less power over your property, you actually have less freedom and less money in general. So and the best comparison I think he made, which really helps to flesh out and explain the idea of the metaverse and what he was talking about, was in games like Fortnite, for example, where you're moving around in this like 3D type environment, interacting with other players, other people. And so you can buy cosmetics. And when people really struggle with the idea of why would I want to buy an NFT, for example, when it's not anything physical, it's nothing provided to me, I don't gain anything. But in Fortnite, it's the same thing. There have been like millions of dollars of sales on skins, which just changes the way your character looks in the game. And so people want to buy these things, these cosmetics, and they're willing to. And it's a huge business. I mean, I think it was over $30 billion worth of transactions just in NFTs alone is insane. And another topic he covers is how, even if you're not just interacting with it, if you're actually providing the content for the metaverse, you already get paid for that in the real world. Like on YouTube, for example, if you post a video and it makes YouTube money, you can sign up for programs that will give you money back from the company. But the money is so much smaller that you get back. It's like 30%, I think. Now compare that to NFTs, where it's individuals selling these things to other individuals or groups. And I think it's 90% of that money goes back to you instead of just the traders themselves keeping all of it, just for handling the transaction. So a couple of questions I would have for Yat Siu would be, how would the metaverse stop new monopolies from forming, just like in the real world? Because that's the big problem, I think, with things like Facebook and YouTube and such, is the monopolies having the power over all of them, so they can decide, what your data does and what they do with it, and you don't really have a say. So how would the metaverse stop that from happening? It's also kind of related to that. Is there government in the metaverse? And if not, how would laws be set and enforced? How would problems with like stealing data, forgery, things like that? I'm not sure what else, but how would that be handled really if there is no government? And if there is government, how would that work? Because it's supposed to be each person, it's supposed to be a total democracy. So how would that even work? And finally, how would users generate value and gain stake in the network in general? So he said just by interacting and by providing data, which again, it's so broad, we don't know exactly what that would look like yet. I'm just wondering, would them simply interacting with the metaverse allow them to gain credit, or would they have to actually provide content? So yeah, I thought this TED Talk is really interesting. The reason I chose it was because I wasn't actually familiar with what the metaverse was. I thought it was completely different, really. Well, not completely different, but I just only seen the surface of what it was through Facebook's Meta. Like I just thought it was a virtual reality type deal, just another console, But this has really opened my eyes to the benefits it could provide, just the different angles you could take on it, and I thought it was really cool. Thank you.